known for its strict Sharia laws where women were, until just recently, forbidden from going to cinemas and were not even allowed to drive. In a landmark reform, Saudi Arabia has banned the abaya, which is a combination of the hijab and a burqa, from the classrooms. The move is being lauded by the world. But ladies and gentlemen, this also reminds us of the stark reality in India, where just a few months ago, Karnataka High Court's order to ban hijab in classrooms had invited massive criticism from the ecosystem. This lobby raised questions on the court's order and threatened that any move to ban hijab from classrooms would have thousands of girls quitting schools. Let's first listen in to how Muslim women in India are welcoming the move by the Saudi government.
I think earlier, like us, we are a secular democracy. So there's a lot our women can learn from these nations. Hijab is not mandatory in Islam. It is meant to control women. It is a regressive practice. And we should give up this insistence on wearing the hijab. We say we wear it by choice, but there's hardly a choice because our choice is so much.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining the debate, Nighat Abad, social activist and lawyer, Rahul Easwar, activist, Kamru Zaman Chaudhary, leader of the Congress party. But my first question goes to Professor Atikur Rahman, political analyst. Atikur Rahman Saab, the bogey of hijab taking away free will of the women, does that bite the dust today? Because Saudi Arabia has actually said that uniform is important, not the abaya, in educational institutions in Saudi Arabia. Should we do a rethink?
Well, Navika ji, all strength to the women who have a choice either in Iran or Saudi Arabia, or it should be in India as well. So far, the news that has come has pinpointed that only in the exam hall the abaya is banned, and they must be having very valid reasons for it, and I hope that this will be countrywide. Now look objectively towards the Saudi society and the Indian society. If you want to at all compare with the hijab ban and the hijab issue in India and the abaya in Saudi, how many nirbayas have we seen in Saudi Arabia in the last few years?
Oh.
How many people
so now we have to come
students,
and look at the rape statistics.
Chanting.
Okay. Okay. So now we have to look at the rape statistics before we can have any...
I am talking about the...
What are you talking about?
Why only rape? How many Romeo squads have been appointed in Saudi Arabia? How many Sakshi Maharaj we have seen in Saudi Arabia going to singers and garlanding and distributing sweets inside the jail for making him win the elections? How many people we have seen, students chanting Jai Shri Ram before the girls? You know, there are things
so if students are chanting Jai Shri Ram before the girls must wear a hijab because that will prevent it. You know, Rahul Easwar, is Mr. Atikur Rahman normally a very intelligent person, now losing his sense of logic and clarity and reasoning?
How to guard the modesty will be decided by the girls, by the women.
Decision for this. Saudi Arabia should be applauded. Saudi Arabia should be, congratulated for this particular move. Let us be very honest about it. Second, please remember, anybody has a right to wear anything anywhere in the world. But when they come to an institution, the institution has a higher right to decide the dress code. You can wear any dress to any place. And I have often pointed out the great example of Justice Fatima Bibi, who used to adhere to the court's dress code when she was a judge. And whenever she goes to private functions, she used to cover her head in the Islamic way. So some sense of balance should be there. And it's paining that a theocratic Islamic nation, Saudi, can find a better balance than a secular progressive India. Is it not something shocking that a theocratic Islamic religion-based nation called Saudi Arabia can find a better balance and bring more freedom when India as a secular free nation is not able to do that? So there comes the issue of appeasement, or there comes the issue of not recognizing many facts. Anybody should adhere to a dress code if an institution so chooses.
No, but Rahul Easwar, Atikur Rahman's bigger problem is that there are cases where Romeo squads are required, and he talks about Jai Shri Ram being chanted, you know, and hijab is really to guard against the Jai Shri Ram. You know, is that a logical argument?
Can I be very honest regarding this? I have immense respect to Atikur Rahmanji. Please, that argument can really be misunderstood. Atikur Rahmanji, just one line. That argument can really be misunderstood. I hope you will articulate in a different way. I understand the sense of what you are saying, but if you are articulating it that way, that is dangerous and that can be misunderstood. So please remember, both Jai Sri Ram or Allahu Akbar are sacred and very important and respectful to us. But here the issue is different.
Rahul, the Quran says both women and men should guard their modesty. Now leave it to the women how they want to guard their modesty.
My friend Atikur Rahmanji, the question was about hijab in educational institutions.
Exactly.
And this is not about freedom of choice. This is about a school, a college, and an examination center where the parallel is being drawn. Rest of the time, what you do with your personal choice is entirely up to you.
Navika ji, how shall a girl in India guard her modesty in front of those chanting boys who chant Jai Shri Ram and compel her?
You know, you're making this completely communal. And Kamru Zaman Chaudhry, you're a Congress leader. I want to ask you, when Mr. Atikur Rahman keeps repeating, once again, the religious chant of a particular community and says that in a country where these chants come out, people have to guard their modesty. You know, what is he saying? Is this not communal? You don't object to this. You're sitting and smiling over there. If anybody else had said about any other religion, you would have been up in arms. I'm just asking you, Kamru Zaman Chaudhry, is tolerance only meant for some religions and not for others?
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Til ko taal mat kijiye, Navika ji. The basic point that I want to put out tonight here, you know, a King Abdullah University of Science and Technology in Saudi Arabia, which has drawn students from at least 61 countries in their university, has no dress code. In fact, the women and men, they do not go through any Islamic way of dressing. That's already there. Very much in the Saudi education system, you don't have a co-education school in Saudi Arabia. The men and the boys and the girls, they study in separate schools. There is a distinction between the two. Even in India, when we go for competitive examination like NEET or IIT joint entrance or IS examination, you can cite, there are plenty of your listeners out here, they will recollect also that they had to remove their earrings also, leave aside anything else that is a metal or which slightly undergoes any type of suspicion. Now in this case, what Saudi has done is they have banned the use of abaya in an exam hall. Essentially, what does it mean? That in a co-educational school, you need not wear a abaya. It is not the case. The girls go to a fully girl educational school where they do not wear a hijab. That is there. So I don't find anything.
Now a new corollary and a new reasoning for why hijab should not be banned coming from the Congress leader. Respond, Nikhil.
Navika, there are a set of people who are clearly going through a mental diarrhea. And why am I saying this? Because they are so desperate to create a propaganda that Indian Muslims today in India are in a big jeopardy. Now, their propaganda has clearly gone down to flames. Reason being, the country with dominance of Islam today, a country like Saudi Arabia, has put a ban on hijab for particular reason. But still, Indian Muslims are in jeopardy because we want to ban that in examination hall. Now, one more news which has been coming since the evening is that a big Indian Muslim celebrity like Urfi Javed can wear anything in India, walk freely, do ultra-modern photo shoots, post it with a very immense pride and freedom. Wherein a country like UAE arrests her for wearing revealing clothes and doing a photo shoot. That's where these thoughts are coming from. Now, these people say that we do not take it from the Arabs, we create our own agenda. That's the reality. These people here today are going to be, bashed. Reason being, Saudi Arabia is banning, but they are not ready to ban, even if the, studies of the Indian Muslim women are put in jeopardy. But their education, their lives are in jeopardy. Indian Muslims to khatre mein hai. Wo victim card khelenge. Kyunki Hindustan mein
the question really tonight is, if Saudi can do it, what is stopping India from doing it? Who is stopping Indian Muslim girls from really being tied down with their hijabs? The question really here is, should we be looking at the kitab or the hijab? What is our priority as a country? And that is the question I want to leave with all those who want to make the rules for the women. Women should be allowed to choose their own rules. Kitab definitely should score over hijab. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you to all my panelists for joining me on this debate. With that, it's a wrap on the Newshour tonight. Good night, be safe, social distance.